Welcome to the Pregnancy Help News Brief. I'm Lisa Bourne, Managing Editor of Pregnancy Help News. Here's a look at the headlines from this month's top stories. Groundbreaking study finds abortion pill 22 times more dangerous than FDA says. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says the FDA should change abortion pill's label, promises full review of health effects. More than Dobbs is needed to erase the impact of Roe, conservative scholar says. Largest heartbeat conference ever unites pregnancy help community together towards tomorrow. The states of affairs, how abortion is faring in the states post-Dobbs and post-election. And what is going on in Georgia with Adriana Smith. Now let's take a closer look at this month's top stories. A groundbreaking new study has revealed that the abortion pill is 22 times more dangerous than previously recognized in FDA data. The largest ever study of its kind, released by the Ethics and Public Policy Center, found that 10.93% of women experience sepsis, infection, hemorrhaging, or another serious adverse event within 45 days of taking Mifepristone, a 22-fold increase over the 0.5% cited by the FDA and Danco, the manufacturer of the brand-named chemical abortion pill Mifepristone. The study was based on statistics from an insurance claims database with hundreds of thousands of women who were prescribed Mifepristone abortions from 2017 to 2023. The study's authors said, Danco Laboratories markets Mifepristone as the safe and effective abortion pill, but our research shows that Mifepristone abortion, as currently practiced in the U.S., is not safe and effective. Mifepristone is the first drug taken in the two-step chemical abortion regimen and works by blocking the hormone progesterone, causing the lining of the uterus to break down in order to kill the unborn baby. A second drug, Mifepristone, taken a day or so after the Mifepristone, leads to contractions and the delivery of a presumably dead fetus. Mifepristone is approved in the U.S. for use up to 10 weeks in pregnancy, and chemical abortions account for the majority of all abortions occurring in the U.S. Heartbeat International President Jarrell Godsey said that women's lives and health are too far valuable to be treated as acceptable casualties in the rush to expand chemical abortion. Women deserve care, not careless risks disguised as healthcare, Godsey said. The FDA must act swiftly to reinstate common-sense safeguards for the abortion pill, or reconsider its approval altogether. Godsey wasn't alone in saying the EPPC study results show that the FDA must re-examine the safety standards for Mifepristone. A chorus of pro-life voices has urged the FDA to reinstate tighter restrictions on the abortion pill following release of the groundbreaking study from the Ethics and Public Policy Center highlighting the pill's dangers. Recall that the EPPC study found that over 10% of women suffer sepsis, infection, hemorrhaging, or another serious complication within 45 days of taking Mifepristone. And that rate is 22 times higher than the 0.5% cited by Danco, the manufacturer of the brand-name chemical abortion pill Mifepristone. The abortion pill was first approved under the Clinton administration in 2000, with stronger regulations that were later loosened under Presidents Obama and Biden. Chemical abortions account for at least 63% of all abortions in the U.S., with some estimates higher. The new study from the EPPC analyzed insurance data from more than 865,000 Mifepristone abortions from 2017 to 2023. Ryan T. Anderson, president of the Ethics and Public Policy Center and co-author of the study, said, "We're calling on the Trump administration to reinstate the original safety protections." U.S. Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri sent a letter to FDA Commissioner Marty Makary that cites the study and told Makary the safety risks of the chemical abortion drug Mifepristone are far greater than the FDA currently acknowledges. U.S. Senator Steve Daines from Montana also called on the FDA to become involved in reviewing safety standards for the abortion drug. Daines said this recent study is proof that pro-abortion advocates care more about promoting their radical agenda than they do about women's health. I urge the FDA to reinstate safety protocols for Mifepristone so that we can protect the health of women and uphold the dignity of life. Christina Francis, a practicing OBGYN and the CEO of the American Association of Pro-Life OBGYNs, said that the new data represents a public health crisis. We cannot place abortion access above patient care and patient safety, Francis said. This should be something that all of us can agree on and come together on. Heartbeat International convened its 54th annual Pregnancy Help Conference recently, the largest heartbeat conference ever on several fronts. Numbers continued to roll in at press time, with the total number of registrants over 1,600. Factoring in virtual registrants, along with presenters, heartbeat staff, and a record number of exhibitors, the attendance figure exceeds 2,000. Pregnancy Help personnel gathered for the conference from 44 states in the U.S. and 20 countries worldwide. Heartbeat International is the largest network of pregnancy help organizations in the U.S. and the world, and its annual conference is the largest event in the pregnancy help movement. In addition to keynote sessions, full-day in-depth training sessions, more than 70 in-person and 40-plus virtual workshop presentations, the conference also gave the opportunity for medical professionals to earn continuing education hours. Heartbeat hosted its largest Love Approach ultrasound clinical class as well. Heartbeat's innovative method of ultrasound training connects the technical and spiritual needs of individuals who work in pregnancy help. The Pregnancy Help Conference was again held simultaneously, in person and virtually, the events running April 30th through May 2nd, with the in-person event taking place in Birmingham, Alabama. The 2025 conference theme was Together Towards Tomorrow, based on Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Heartbeat leadership remarked on attendees' eagerness for education, fellowship, and encouragement, saying that their presence reflects a deep commitment to growth and learning, and that everyone came together not just in proximity, but in heart and purpose. Human connections across national borders forged by Pregnancy Help were on display as the 54th Heartbeat International Annual Pregnancy Help Conference kicked off with the Parade of Nations. The Parade of Nations is the poignant element of the first day of the Heartbeat Conference each year, a moving experience for conference participants with the show of international bonds in the pregnancy help movement. Heartbeat has reached 102 countries for affiliates. The Parade of Nations includes each flag from a country where Heartbeat International has an affiliate presence. The flags are carried in a procession to the conference venue stage, where participants gather for a welcome and prayer before displaying the scores of flags across the stage and framing its two sides. The flags of countries that have people present at the conference are carried in the parade by individuals from those countries, and the rest by volunteers among the wider conference attendants. This year, international pregnancy help workers from 20 countries traveled many hours across the miles to be present at the Heartbeat Conference. It is a time of fellowship, learning, and connection for them, and those with whom they interact at the conference. The 2025 Parade of Nations culminated with those 20 flags carried to center stage. Later in the evening, representatives from 2 international pregnancy help organizations shared accounts of their ministry, drawing further emotion from conference attendees. Heartbeat International recognized 4 individuals who exemplify service and leadership in the pregnancy help movement at its annual conference. The Peggy Hartshorn Servant Leader Award recognizes people who have given of themselves sacrificially in the service of life, both as servants of others and as leaders themselves. The award's namesake is Peggy Hartshorn, longtime board chair and former president of Heartbeat International. Heartbeat began awarding the honor in 1996, and more than 100 people have been recognized. The 2025 Peggy Hartshorn Servant Leader Award honorees were Herbie Newell, Svetlana Jovanova, Gloria Leda, and Tammy Kocher. Newell is president and executive director of Lifeline Children's Services, where he leads its adoption, foster care, and orphan care ministries. Jovanova is founder and CEO of Lydia, A Beating Heart, the first pro-life pregnancy center in Macedonia, and the leader of the Balkan Network for Life. Leda is Senior Vice President of Ambassador Speakers, which represents Christian speakers addressing social, spiritual, and anthropological issues. Kocher is Executive Director of New Life Family Services, a pregnancy help clinic with multiple locations providing pregnancy, parenting, and post-abortion services, along with licensed adoption services. Ryan T. Anderson, president of the Ethics and Public Policy Center and newly appointed member of the Religious Liberty Commission, told attendees of the Heartbeat International Conference that there are living, breathing children alive today because of the Supreme Court Dobbs ruling. However, Anderson sees disturbing trends that reveal the Dobbs decision has not erased the half-century of damage done by Roe v. Wade. After the law teaching for 50 years that women have the right to choose abortion, Anderson said a disappointing trend has seen new state laws passed to protect life only to be overturned by ballot initiatives a few months later. Therefore, to bring lasting change on the legal front, he said, the goal needs to be not simply to pass the most protective law that's passable, but the most protective law that can withstand the efforts to repeal it. Anderson questioned the commitment of some Republicans in Congress to the pro-life cause. The main vice that we're seeing right now is cowardice from some people in the political class who aren't willing to speak up boldly and courageously in defense of life, he said. Every human being is made in the image and likeness of God. Every human being deserves the law's protection. That has to be a bedrock principle of the political class. Anderson discussed the Ethics and Public Policy Center's new report showing that the true rate of adverse effects on women who took the abortion pill is 22 times higher than the FDA had previously claimed. Anderson said he believes the report can help us change the narrative that developed under Roe v. Wade. He called for a broader focus to help change hearts and minds, including a pro-chastity movement and a pro-marriage movement in the U.S. as vigorous as the pro-life movement. Anderson pointed out that abortion is primarily a spiritual issue and said that defense of the Imago Dei is not optional. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said in mid-May that the Food and Drug Administration should change the label on the abortion drug Mifepristone and conduct a top-to-bottom review of the pill after the Ethics and Public Policy study showed the risks of serious side effects are greater than previously thought. Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri asked Kennedy about Mifepristone during a Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee hearing, where he cited the EPPC study that had found nearly 11% of women suffered a serious adverse effect from the abortion drug. It's alarming, Kennedy said of the EPPC data. Clearly, it indicates that at the very least, the label should be changed. Kennedy added that he had asked FDA Commissioner Marty McCary to do a complete review and report back. Pro-life and pregnancy help advocates eagerly await action by the Trump FDA on reviewing the safety standards for chemical abortion drug Mifepristone. The Trump administration holds that abortion should be left up to the states, and it is unlikely that the federal government will get involved over the next 4 years, according to 40 Days for Life General Counsel Matt Britton. Britton said in a commentary piece that it is basically the position that the U.S. Supreme Court took in the Dobbs decision that overturned Roe v. Wade. The U.S. Constitution does not mention abortion, Britton said, and the 10th Amendment says, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. So what are the states doing now, he asked. They are leaving it up to the people. Britton ran down constitutional amendments to protect abortion that have passed, failed, been considered, or are in place. Britton concluded by saying that now, prayers and peaceful vigils are more important than ever to end abortion throughout the United States. There has been significant outcry over the case of Adriana Smith, a brain-dead pregnant Georgia woman on life support. But there has also been significant misinformation about the case, and it is being exploited to advance the abortion agenda. The Georgia Attorney General's office released a statement clarifying that the state's heartbeat law, which prohibits abortions after detection of a fetal heartbeat, does not require Smith be kept alive. Pregnancy Help news writer Petra Wallenmeyer analyzed the case and found that many legacy media outlets were perpetuating the false narrative that Smith was being kept on life support because of the state's Life Act. Only a few news stories mentioned whether the family wanted Smith removed from life support, and only one discussed what she herself may have wanted. Petra clarified that Georgia's Life Act is not the issue here. Georgia, like many other states, has a law specifically for this situation, and it is not related to abortion legislation generally. It's under advanced directive laws and life support laws. This law states that a pregnant woman in Georgia who must go on life support cannot have that support withdrawn unless she has made an advance directive to withdraw life support and if the fetus is not viable. Petra clarified as well that many abortion states have that type of law in place. The reasoning behind this law, she said, is that we should assume that if a woman is still pregnant when she becomes brain dead, she would wish to remain pregnant. This is the same type of reasoning that EMS providers often use when treating a pregnant woman. If the woman is unconscious or in a coma, EMS does not presume she would want an abortion. This case is tragic, traumatizing, and costly, Petra said in her article, but not without precedent. Worse, the media has really played up the emotional trauma of the family. Petra called for a pause and reflection of what we would do if we were in this scenario. By using a horrible tragedy, not at all related to abortion, to try to advocate for more abortion access, abortion proponents have shown they actually don't care about bodily autonomy, the woman's choice, or doctors' opinions, Petra reasoned. The default position is abortion. This is a gross misuse of a family tragedy, she said. Smith deserved medical care to begin with, Petra said, and her family, even now, deserves empathy, respect, and support. That's the news for this episode of the Pregnancy Help News Brief. All of these stories and more are available to you 24/7 at pregnancyhelpnews.com. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Pregnancy Help News Brief on Pregnancy Help Podcast. I'm Lisa Bourne. Subscribe to receive updates on future episodes.